It's about that time, baby, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go, here we go.
The Sinclair Show is on.
It is on.
Run it to your friends, come on.
Come on, come on.
Jay
Dizzle.
Of the show tonight, mailbag is tight. Sinclair is on the mic.
Once again, it's so you're still troubled in your home. Got your tripping, don't know right from wrong. Send your letters to the show so we can talk you through. Get the answers to your questions because we speak that truth. Sometimes you doubt yourself, lost your health. Faith is on the fence, but you believe that Jesus knows your wealth.
That's what's
Keep
up.
it moving, spirit flowing because we're here to provide someone to lean on when you're falling. Wednesday 8 and 9 and it's on.
Once again, it's on. You're listening to the only morning show at night, people. It's the Sinclair Show in partnership with WBISLP, Awesome Radio 106.9, and Greenville Pit Access Television TV 23. The Sinclair Show is sponsored by Carver Cigars. What's your Carver moment? And the Interdenominational Spiritual Training, where increasing your knowledge and relationship with God goes hand in hand. You can catch the Sinclair Show on Sinclair TV, GPAT TV 23. Check your local listings for times and dates. You can also watch on Facebook at The Sinclair Show. Well. So we creeping along this evening, I see. Everybody hasn't checked in yet, but nonetheless, we got work to put in. Can't be killing up all our time waiting on people. We're going to treat this like we at the airport. And when you at the airport, what happens is if they say your flight leaving at this time and they close that gate, sorry, but you can't get in. That's how we're going to have to start operating with some of our more lackadaisical, valued customers, if you will. Anyway, people, first of all, I want to thank all of you all who continue to send your mailbag questions, your comments, your ideas about what you would like for us to be endeavoring into on a nightly basis. Going to continue to address each one each night we're on the air because you all are the valued listeners. That's right. Because without you, there would be no need for me. If you understand what I'm saying to my people. So anyway, again, I want to thank all of you all for my people that are out there in Colorado. Yes, I am considering a secondary show. Some people be talking about if they on the West Coast, that they little time slot, they still be at work trying to sneak and listen to the Sinclair Show. Well, of course, I don't want none of y'all to catch them termination papers. So of course we're gonna try to work something out. Maybe I give y'all I get me one of those little apps built where y'all could do what you gotta do and still be able to listen to Uncle Cindy Sin on the Sinclair Show without getting fired from your job on the West Coast. All right. So I don't want y'all to think I don't be reading, but yeah, my people out there on the West Coast, they like, hey, look here. We ain't playing with you. We trying not to get fired, so don't be shouting out our name. So people, if you come in and you don't want me to shout out your name because I forgot, Uncle Sam be slipping sometime. I forgot some of y'all on the West Coast, some of y'all in a different time zone, some of y'all in a different country, and y'all be having a little thing in your ear. Some of y'all be having it on your little desk speakers, and I be shouting out. I forgot all about some of y'all get in trouble. So anyway, my apologies to my people, but nonetheless, so if you don't tell me not to give you a shout out, you getting a shout is out. All right, so let's talk about who was the first person on the show, and it was the big homie, Jay Dizzle. What's going on, Johnny? Glad to see you up in this piece. Johnny said the red hat was hidden. Much obliged. Talent knows talent. Then we had Gwendolyn Lady Elegance Pritchard from the Rocket City, Alabama. See, that's what I like. I like when people be out there in the country and they go ahead and represent for their city. Some of y'all be making up stuff talking about you from places that you really not, because you don't want to give recognition to the, you know how it was when you was growing up, you wanted to always be from someplace big. No, I want to be from someplace small, and then we turn it big. Detective Pamela Black, what's going on? Glad to see you on the show. There go the legal beagle, Cassandra Key. What's going on? Glad to see you up here. Oh, yeah, there go big brother Rod Jake in the his house. James Key, what's going on, big guy? All right. Somebody need to find my mama. You know what? I think my mama might be at church tonight. Jane said that hat is on. Yeah. Good looking out. Good looking out. Observant. See, that's how we don't get caught. Like some of my Anglo-Saxon compadres be out there in the public, get caught slipping. We always observant, if you will. But anyway, so somebody find my mama. I don't feel comfortable when I don't see my mama pop on, but I think she might have eased out. And if she went to work for the Lord, I'm not getting ready to mess with that. You know, I got an agreement with God that I don't be messing around with like that. But anyway, people, we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. Some of it, as usual, is going to be controversial. And I bet y'all be saying to me, well, Sin is saying, how do you know it's going to be controversial? Because I know y'all like that. Man, y'all be up in my DM with all the hate mail over any and everything. It's just unnecessary. The mess y'all said to me last week, if I was a more sensitive type of dude, if my skin was a little thinner, you know, I might would have had some feelings about it. But obviously, I ain't had no feelings about it because I don't care nothing about what y'all be trying to say when y'all be trying to insult me. Some of you ladies with the Me Too movement, y'all didn't care for last week. But that's all right. We're going to get us a Me Too movement. The man Me Too movement. That probably won't work out too well. We don't stick together enough for that. Y'all might infiltrate. During pillow talk, y'all find out all the secrets. We've been known to give up some secrets during pillow talk. But anyway, look, people, we're going to go ahead and jump in the game tonight because we got a problem, people. And let me go ahead and post it up so it'll start scrolling across y'all screens, if you will. Now, let me tell y'all, when I first looked into my mailbox and somebody had said this, I had not gone out to the public domain to read for myself, but I was startled. I was startled because there was something out there that said Republican congressman. Matter of fact, let me see if I got it up in here. Y'all know I went to the eye doctor today. They told me my vision is still pretty good, but I might need a little extra wattage in my eyeballs, if you will. But you know, I ain't worried about that. Y'all know how we do. We'll get glasses and won't even use them just because we think it might not make us look a certain kind of way. But anyway, let's go ahead and break this down, people. It says Senator Mark Rubio's bill submits a bill to mandate men pay child support from conception. Woo! Where's our antagonist at? I don't see her tonight. I thought for sure she would have been up here by now because this is right down her alley to be talking crazy about. Anybody seen what's her name? Man, I be trying to fire her every week. Nikki Carter. Somebody find Nikki Carter. Tell her we got a hot one of her type of topics on tonight. It says U.S. Senator Mark Rubio of Florida sponsored legislation that would require anyone whose sperm is used to fertilize an egg to begin paying child support from the moment of conception upon the mother's request. The Florida Republican senator's bill advanced to the GOP's goal of legally claiming that life begins at conception and that fertilized eggs are persons with all the rights of human beings. He said we should do everything we can to support American mothers and their children. This bill would allow expectant mothers to prepare and support their babies before they're born, Senator Rubio said in a statement. The bill itself makes a specific change to the current federal regulations regarding child support. WFLA reports under the proposed legislation, the government would require that states establish and enforce child support obligations of the biological father of an unborn child and subsequent to the birth of the child, to the mother of such child at the mother's request. Is it just me? Or is this the the largest piece of trickery that this is a caper right here. This right here is right next to them convincing us to get on that boat talking about we was going to the land of milk and honey, the good and plenty. It says Senator Rubio is ranked among the most far-right GOP senators, according to the GovTrack. The bill is supported by some of the most far-right senators and organizations in the U.S., including the Family Research Council, Concern for Women, along with GOP Senators James Lankford, Marsha Blackburn. Meanwhile, Senator Rubio's history of voting against children tells a different story. Now, before I get through popping in some of these thoughts of mine, Big Brother Rod said many of these Republicans would be paying themselves. Absolutely. Oh, Lady Elegant said, what if the baby isn't the guy's? This is a no-go. Oh, see, you know what? That's why I like some of the ladies that be on the show, because y'all be broad thinking individuals. Now, let me tell y'all some key points in this. One, it said that upon the mother's request, there's the little tricky part. There, if you continue to read into it, it also says she can reserve the right to request it until after the baby is born and then get retroactive pay. What kind of hot mess is this that we sitting out here talking about trying to give a woman some child support before the baby even makes it out the womb? That's some trickery. Now, let me say this, ladies, for all of y'all that's out there saying that, yeah, this is good, you should have been doing this forever and ever. Let me say this to you. They could have been doing it forever, but they didn't want to. This is just to appease some of you all because they overturned Roe versus Wade. So they feel like, let me take your mind off that before the November elections and let me make it look like I'm giving you something. Now, first of all, Jay Dizzle said this is going to create ghetto queens early. Said, what about the Maury shows types that find out that the baby, that ain't theirs baby? Well, we know what the deal is. I'm looking for the law that's going to say if she take that bread and find out that it ain't his, he get to go back and get that bread from her. Right out the gate. Because see, this is the danger of this whole process. And again, ladies, understand, they're not doing this because they give a rat about you. They could have allowed mothers to receive some sort of support, whether it was financial support, whether it was, if they did not have or did not know whom the father was, they could have got the benefits from the state like many do anyway. They could have been doing this for years. They never did it. Why? Because they don't believe in it anyway. Oh, yeah, they go, my mama, what's up, mama? So when I tell you, stop walking around here thinking that this bill is going to help y'all get the collection plate rolling through your house and that y'all going to be out here just popping off, you crazy. It ain't going to be that easy. Rod said, I got a question. What does the Bible say about when you consider a person? Woo! See, all right, Big Rod. Now, let me say this. Now, I personally, perusing through the good book on an often basis, have found that it never really even says, it says, he who finds a good thing and favor with. Now, but Big Rod done brought up a good thing. And we're going to take a pause on give women a chance to marinate. We're going to flip it back to this. Big Rod brought up a good statement. Let me see if I can show it again. He said he got a question. What does the Bible say about when you are considered a person? All right. Let me touch points on one thing before we get to that. Men, this means it is incumbent on you to know who you laid up with. if you are laid up with someone who is ratchet, now how you gonna know if she ratchet? Because history tells you if somebody is ratchet. See, we be out here looking for the most finest thing we could put our peepers on, and they be out there on the plot and scheme team. So, men, don't get mad if you wind up having to pay out dividends early because you was out here looking for to get you something quick and easy. And she come back and say she pregnant. And next thing you know, you running around here on an emotional low because somebody done called your job and faxed over the paperwork for the courthouse to start drawing out some of your checky check. So we're going to begin with the baseline here. The baseline is if you don't want to wind up in this situation, stop getting out here sleeping with everybody. Certainly stop sleeping with folks unprotected. Third of all, you need to do some research on who you choosing to get into bed with. Now, I know that's a little deep for some of y'all. Some of y'all going to be in your feelings. But brothers, I got to tell you, we got to protect now. We got to protect. Taya Matthews, what's going on, girl? Glad to see you. Again, it's easy to not wind up in this situation if you pay attention to what you out here doing. Taya said, get gloved up. And ladies, let me do my disclaimer because I know some of y'all in the Me Too movement are feeling heated right now. You want to say something, but you're a little nervous about sounding a little crazy. So let me give my disclaimer. My disclaimer is, as always, we ain't talking about all women. There are some very, very good, wholesome women out here. They do the best that they can. They get out here every day. They do the right things the most of the time. So we're not talking about them. But oh my goodness, look at how many Negro women about to turn into some Republicans just on the strength of somebody saying, we gonna hook you up with child support if you request it at the inception. That means she gets to say that dude right there is the father of little Jody in my belly. And because she says it, he's going to wind up having to pay out some dividends until it can be proven. Ty said there are some schemers on both sides. Ty, let me tell you something. First of all, when you get ready to play this ignorant mess tonight, I don't perceive there to be any men out here scheming to get a woman pregnant. Nah, I ain't even riding with men. Some of y'all let me know. Do y'all know any men out there that's scheming to get somebody pregnant? See, it's always somebody like Ty that try to balance the scales, talking about they're scheming on both sides. No. What benefit would this be to a man to scheme to get somebody pregnant when he the one gonna have to pay? Ty said, what? I've had men tell me they got someone pregnant on purpose just so they could keep her in the line of sight. Girl, please. I don't know what type of, you making it up. Give me a name. Matter of fact, give me the number. I'll call them up on the show right now because I ain't buying what you're selling. Big Rod said the reason that I asked the question is conservative movement has used the Bible to justify the laws that they are pushing. They often misuse the Bible to control the masses, aka the American slave overturning Roe versus Wade. Absolutely. Hold on. Nick Cannon ain't said he was trying to have no babies to control nobody or keep him in the line of sight. James, we ain't rocking with you with that. Now, and I'm not talking about people who get together and make the conscious effort to have a child together. Remember what we're talking about. We're not talking about good folks, okay? We're not talking about planners and thinkers of something together. What are we talking about? We talking about some 9 times out of 10 some female who is sitting back that's going to hear about Senator Mark Rubio's bill that the Republicans are trying to push. And in her mind, she going to think, I got these jokers now. Think about it. There's nothing in the bill that says if she gets pregnant, alleges that he's the father, and has a miscarriage that she got to pay the money back. Ain't none of that in the bill. I'm torn on this because to me, when you say you can get some money at the inception, meaning if she say she pregnant, all she gonna have to do, according to this bill, go down there to the child support people, put the name of the brother on the books, and next thing you know, he gonna get that letter. How can any reasonable woman think that that's some acceptable behavior? Ty out there talking about she know dudes that's just trying to get women pregnant so they can keep their eyes on them. Girl, not with these little Apple trackers and all that. You can keep your eye on somebody and you ain't never got to get them knocked up. I'm not buying that. Stop putting that on men. Cassandra said DNA will be required if they want to receive support payments before birth or retroactive if they choose to do paternity after birth. The proposal will refund tax credit, SNAP, and WIC. There is more to this. All right, so tell me how they're going to get the DNA evidence. How do you pull DNA evidence at inception? If a child is 1, 2, 3 weeks old when she finds out that she's pregnant, how do you get DNA evidence? It says if the mother requested, she can get it at inception. So somebody tell me what test out there will allow you to garner that type of information from a seed that is 2 weeks old. I don't even know of a doctor that would do any kind of test on an embryo that is 3 or 4 weeks. So while they're saying this, the bill is very clear. If she requests it, the DNA can be done. All right, Legal Beagle, do me a favor. Since you've given us this knowledge, I want you to go out there and I want you to find me out, if it's possible, what is the earliest that a DNA test can be done on an embryo? So we can see if this lines up. But anyway, let us keep pushing forward with this concept, though. But the ability... Oh, Big Rod said a lot of guys will ghost these women. Absolutely. And my fear is that, so you said at 9 weeks. So the first 9 weeks, she might know she pregnant. They could start her stuff then, but they're going to require her to do a test or because I didn't read in the bill where it says she had to, you said possibly 7. You must be going to one of them side clinics. But anyway, let me say this. We already know that in the current state that we in right now, you have some, we're not talking about you good, wholesome women. All right. Most women don't find out they're pregnant till they're 6 to 8 weeks along. Yeah, but some of you out there plotting and planning, you gonna know soon as I've heard people say, oh, I knew the day that it happened. Of course you did. You planned it. You was on some criminalistic thought process. But I'm saying to you all, and again, I am not speaking of our wholesome women who would never think to do anything to entrap a man. I'm not talking about you all. I want that to be clear. But for those of you who have been scandalous, let me see, Cassandra said there is a legal process. This isn't instant as it sounds. Okay. Keep deep diving for us. But right now, today, you have women, and I'm not talking about women who accidentally find themselves in a situation where there's an unknown quantity. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the ones that's plotting and planning that say, you know what? Oh, El DeBarge think he about to skate out on me. I'm about to sneak and get pregnant. I'm gonna put a little hole in his condoms. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get pregnant, knowing that I could get that bread. You know how many cases we see, and I'm not picking on anybody tonight. Well, maybe I am. I've always had a concern that the system will reward situations where, let's say you are a woman, the race and ethnicity matters not, and you got 5 kids by 5 different babies' daddies that's all of them 12 months apart. You should not be rewarded with, I said, men better be careful and know who they sleeping with. Stop trying to spread that seed around or they're going to get caught up. Big Rod says, see, what they are doing, 6 weeks, the baby heartbeat law goes in effect in some states, and then you put a man on child support, now you're stuck. All right. Hey, we all see how the plan is going to work. But let me say this to society as a whole. Stop rewarding bad behavior. If you make it profitable for that criminal-minded element to run afoul with this type of setup, that's exactly what they're going to do. Okay? And I'm just keeping it a stack with you. We reward bad behavior. And then you have to ask yourself, from an alternative perspective, is this part of something more sinister to drive more wedges between the Negro community in general? Okay, you already made it easy. Now you're going to make it super easy to put a man on child support, to which there is at least 50% culpability to men, because you need to be thinking about who you out there sleeping with. So I'm not giving you a pass if you out here knocking up a bunch of women. I am not giving you a pass on that. You should reap what you sow if you are a willful participant. You should not be taking somebody's word that tells you, oh, I'm on birth control. If she tells you she on birth control, you still need to be practicing protective sex if that's what you're doing. You might need to not be doing it at all. But I've got to speak to you from a level of straightforwardness. You don't get to escape your responsibility simply because she tricked you. That's not what we're promoting. But I do not believe we should be rewarding women. Okay. We should not be rewarding, Ty said, birth control, is not foolproof. Don't get it twisted. All right. Hey, I'm just saying. And so because of this, I want to make it perfectly clear that the moment that they find a way to push this through, if it makes it through, you're going to see an increase in child support claims. You're going to see an increase in delinquency of paying it. You're going to see an increase in men being locked up. What's going on, JC? Glad to see you. You're going to see an increase in women who have more kids, because for a while now, there's been a reduction in the profitability of getting knocked up, hoping you could get a check. This right here is a game changer for scandalous women. It is a game changer for dumb men. Them two combined together is a concoction made for trouble. And so when I say this to you all, I'm saying it because I want you to think. The Republicans did not do this because they got so much love for women. They just went and put somebody in the Supreme Court, put enough people that they knew would go against it, because they've been talking about overturning Roe versus Wade. The Republicans don't care anything about women. Why would they? They don't want you to have a right to choose. If you pass if you are the Supreme Court and you say to yourselves, I say that whomever is pregnant must keep the baby, and all of this foolishness that they try to have the touch points on, and Republicans are now just locking the doors, if you will, then Big Rod said the smoke screen to me is this: the white population is becoming the minority and the conservatives are doing everything to increase the white population. Hey, they are. But I want y'all to think about this, ladies, before y'all put y'all jackets on and go out there and turn into Republicans because you think they love you and got your back. They don't want you to have a right to choose. They just said, I think it was in Indiana, that a 10-year-old girl who was raped should still have to have the baby of her rapist, and then he should be giving parental rights. So don't sit back and act like they got love for you. Jay Dizzle said, which will feed the modern slave prison narrative. Absolutely. Ty said, facts. I'm glad you said it. This is not about people of color at all. This is to prevent white young women from having abortions to increase their population size. Well, to me, I fundamentally disagree. I do not believe that canceling abortions. See, I need you all to process this from a critical thinking perspective. There is no evidence that white girls is out here having abortions at a significantly high level. So to cancel out abortions, I don't believe was designed to do anything related to white women. Truth be told, I'm certain that whether it be through resources or otherwise, anybody who wants to have one still gonna do it. So I don't think it's that. I think attacking Roe versus Wade was more about the Negro community than what you all want to let on. And I think in my own professional opinion, that it was also a linchpin to cancel out the other things that they really didn't like, which is the LGBTQ community. If you go back and look at what Clarence Thomas said at the time when they were writing it about Roe versus Wade, he said, now we need to go back and revisit these other things because they're not guaranteed rights. See, but you couldn't start off with the LGBTQ community. No. They got a strong voice right now. So you started with something that you felt like the Bible Belt would latch on to. Okay? That's what they did. Don't get to thinking that this is about, they want to, they don't believe they're going to increase white population by canceling out abortion or giving young white girls the ability to get child support earlier. Historically speaking, white folks ain't putting white folks on child support. Neither one of these two things had anything to do with white women. I'm sorry. Look, yes, they are the minority, but they weren't going to change being the minority. You know why? Because you got a lot of young white girls sleeping with what? Young Negro males or young minority males. So changing Roe versus Wade wasn't going to help them stop their intermingling, if you will, between Anglo-Saxon and Caucasian women with minority males. That wasn't going to stop it. So I normally would rock with y'all, but you got to think deeper than that. What would be the benefit? How is this going to change their population because you change Roe versus Wade or you start letting child support get taken? That is designed to impact the Negro community. They already got women saying they don't need a man for nothing. Now you're saying, I'm going to let you lock this brother into child support earlier. So now you ain't going to have no hardship times. And we're going to let you get it retroactively if we need to. We're going to give you other state subsidies. All this was about softening the blow of Roe versus Wade before an election, because they're not stupid. And then it was to show if we can test Roe versus Wade out, and if we can win Roe versus Wade, if we can get the Supreme Court to change that from being the law of the land, now what we going to do? Exactly what Clarence Thomas said. They about to go back to the LGBTQ community. They're going to take all that back about the same-sex marriages. They're going to take all that about some of those benefits that you receive for that. It's happening. And again, Clarence Thomas, Sambo himself, he told y'all that's what he was doing. And again, tonight's show is not about Vicky Lee, what's going on? Glad to see you. Tonight's show is not about whether or not you agree or disagree with abortion rights. It's not about whether you agree or disagree with the LGBTQ community. It's about looking, because so often we get sidetracked. Okay. Johnny said, however, it will put certain black and brown males in a position to be placed in the system early, especially if they cannot reimburse the cost of benefits the state and government supplies. Absolutely. But let me tell you something, Jay Dizzle. That ain't gonna stop. If you have a Caucasian Anglo-Saxon girl who sleeps with a brother, and then they have a falling out, and she have him sent to court, and then he goes to jail, it's not like she gonna sit around her house and wait on the dude to get out of jail. She going on to the next brother. She's what y'all say, once you go black, you never go back. It ain't like she gonna say, you know what, now that I got me a minority baby, I'm only gonna go back and mess with white guys. It's not gonna shift the population growth that way. That ain't how they think. What you said is true. It's going to potentially lead to greater incarcerations, loss of employment for minority males, because traditionally we don't see courtrooms full of Caucasian and Anglo-Saxon women rolling in there, pressing up for child support against a white man. Now, we can't assume that they're paying on time. We just assuming that they ain't rushing up in the court on them. Maybe they think differently about locking up their own. I don't know. But I don't want y'all to get this twisted and lose sight that none of this benefits stopping the Anglo-Saxon race from becoming the minority by 2026 or whatever that time frame is. None of that does that. They wanted to press and make a set of precedents, if you will. They set a precedence with Roe versus Wade that now has them in a position, because of the language used in Roe versus Wade that they used to overturn it. They immediately had the hit list of, now we're going to get these other things. Think about it, people. You ain't got to rock with me right now on it, but I'm positive if you give it some thought, in a few days, you're going to come back or you're going to DM me and say, Uncle Cindy saying, you know what, you right. Big Rod said, Thomas need to be careful because the laws are based off of the president, which includes the interracial laws that VA passed in the early. Absolutely. A lot of times when we going after people, what they used to say in all the good Western shows, if you digging a grave for somebody, you may as well dig two. But sometimes people are so concerned about what I want to do, how I'm going to get somebody back, that they lose sight that you can be creating a process that will impact you. So the bottom line is, so that we can move on to something else, is that, let me say this. Ladies, if you got some sons and daughters out there, well, sons specifically, now is the time for you to be instilling in him that, Esther Shepherd, glad to see you. If you got sons out here, now is the time for you to put a conscious effort into the thought process of letting him know, stop being out here laying up with everybody. That everything is cute ain't cute for you. That everything that glitter ain't gold. That you could be a mark for somebody who's just lazy and don't want to do anything. If you all are out here, and again, we're not talking about the good women. We're not talking about the thoughtful women. We're not talking about the women that find themselves in a situation where through no fault of their own, some dude promised them the world, got them pregnant, and then they left, okay? Let me see what Ty you're talking about. From my experience, young pregnant white girls have more family support. No need to push for child support right away, just my experience. Okay, that makes sense. Big Rod said, now back to my original question. When you consider, you know what, Big Rod, I ain't messing with you tonight. You about to put me on a path that if we go down that path, it's going to take up the whole show. Big Rod, this is what we're going to do. I give you my word, next Wednesday, that's going to be the starting question. Biblically speaking, and for all of my Me Too movement people, Big Rod asked this question, and it deserves a ample time. So I don't want to cut it short because I know where he's going to go with this. Biblically speaking, spiritually speaking, when is a person considered, when is a embryo, an egg, considered to be a person? That's going to be the starting question of next Wednesday. Ladies, I'm gonna give it to Rod on I'm gonna give him credit for it, but y'all better be prepared because I'm telling you, I already know where he's going with this. Anyway, so let's do this. Let's go and see what else we got to talk about. All right, let's lighten the load a little bit. All right, let's talk about when in the world did Sesame Street. Hold on, Cassandra said one thing. Let me see what Cassandra said. White and non-Hispanics use SNAP and WIC and other federal public support more than any other race. So, Cassandra, you are absolutely right. But I have done extensive research on this. And when you look at the reason why the volume is higher, it is higher because they make up a significant portion of the population. Currently, African Americans make up 16% of the U.S. population. I believe Anglo-Saxon or Caucasians make up 60-some%. Hispanics, I think they have moved into second place at something like 19. And then there are like 2 or 3 other categories. So by default, you should see, and just numerically speaking, you should see a broader and much higher rate of Anglo-Saxons utilizing those government sources. One, they have the information, and 2, they have a higher quantity in terms of volume. We're not talking about in terms of percentages. We're simply talking about in terms of volume of people. It is such a wide gap between our 13%, maybe 13 to 16, depending on what stats you look at, and there's 60 to 67% that they have. So that's a lot more people, but you're absolutely right. So let's get back to talking about Sesame Street. I'm gonna read it to y'all because I just couldn't believe it that Sesame Street is out here acting a fool. It says Sesame Place, which is a theme park. All right. Apparently, which I did not know, Sesame Street, the little show that we all watched when we was growing up with Big Bird and Bert and all them other characters, they have theme parks out here. So it says Sesame Place apologizes after video shows 2 black girls being passed over at a parade. It says Sesame Place Philadelphia has issued an apology and said its employees will undergo more training following backlash from a video showing an employee in Sesame character costume seemingly ignoring 2 small black girls during a parade. The video shows 2 girls checked out decked out in the video shows two girls decked out in Cookie Monster and Abby Cadabby backpacks waiting alongside the parade as a person in the costume of another character. Rosita makes their way down. Before reaching the girls, the character gives out high fives to another small child and adult, both who happen to be white. When the Sesame employee reaches the two black girls who have their hands outstretched, the character waves them off and keeps walking on, leaving the girls with looks of confusion and disappointment. Now, people, I went out and looked at the video. All right. Jay Dizzle said that video was egregious. Absolutely. I looked at, matter of fact, there's two different ones now, two different times. But let me paint a picture. If y'all close your eyes right now and see, imagine being in a parade type line and you waiting. Most often y'all have seen like Minnie Mouse and Mickey Mouse and those characters, how they come around and they just dee and they high fiving and stuff. Well, these Sesame Street characters was in the mix doing the same thing. And they coming down and they bankhead bouncing, everything's cool, right? And so you can see them giving little high fives to the little white kids and the little white parents and ding, ding, and everybody's smiling and everybody's showing nothing but love. And then you got the two little young African-American girls being respectful and polite, waiting their turn in line and got their hands stretched out because all they want to do is get a high five from the character too. And the character waves a finger like Dikembe Mutombo blocking a shot, tells them, no, I ain't with that, and keeps it pressing. And all you see is the look of sadness on the little girl's face. And I can tell you that I looked at that and I became angry. I became angry because, you know, the 42.3% of me that has been determined to be of Anglo-Saxon descent, I find myself trying to defend parts of white America to say maybe it was something else. But time and time again, I keep seeing that there is no answer for you to high five all of the little white kids and their parents and get to those two young, polite, respectable young black girls, and you have the audacity to wave them off with your finger and keep it moving. And Sesame Place, let me tell you something. We finished with this sensitivity training foolishness. No. We as a people, as a culture who spend $12 trillion a year in this U.S. economy, we will no longer accept you guys giving us the proverbial, we gonna give you sensitivity training. Nope, nope, nope. You're gonna have to cut some checks. Because the only thing that white America pays attention to is when there is a loss of revenue. Okay? Ty says somebody needs to get fired. I don't even care nothing about getting fired. Nope, you ain't got to fire them. You ain't got to send them to sensitivity training, and you don't have to fire them. You're going to have to cut a check that's so big. You're going to have to write so many zeros that the next time they see a black kid in Walmart, they're going to go up and hug them. The next time they see a little Mexican kid or any type of minority, they're going to run and grab them and hug them and kiss them and give them all kind of treats and everything else. We need that kind of financial hit to their pockets. We don't want you to sit in no more hour-long classes and get your name signing up on the sheet to prove to us that you sat in the class where you asked some questions and pretty much defended yourself by saying, oh, it was time for me to make the turn and go to the other people. I don't want you sitting in no more classes. I don't care if you don't get it. I don't want you to fire them. I want them to have to put them 6 to 8 zeros on the end of a number, cut them checks, and send them same racist jokers back out to the theme park so they can do it again. I want you to keep cutting checks until you no longer have to tell a person because you have to close your doors. And then you'll become the example to the next theme park, to the next characters, that you cannot do this because we're going to hit you where it hurts. I can promise you this. If both of those young black girls get a check with 6 to 8 zeros on the end of it, they ain't gonna remember the pain of getting left out and treated less than. Because you can buy a whole bunch of Sesame Street characters with 6 to 8 figures. I'm telling you, people, we're no longer accepting apologies for ignorant behavior, because that's what happens to us. Somebody mistreats us, somebody shortchanges us, somebody does something, and the first thing we do as Negroes is when they apologize to us, we take it in stride because we say that's the good Christian thing to do. And y'all gonna stop using my Lord and Savior as a way for us to keep accepting abuse. Nope, that ain't what he said. Y'all sit around here and y'all rock with this. Oh, well, we supposed to turn the other cheek. Nope, nope, nope. I'm trying to get you all to understand that God doesn't require you to be no soft sucker. He can't even use you. Right? I said, what you are saying is key reasons why cops can't be sued. Absolutely. Well, generally speaking, Big Rod, cops can't be sued because many of the laws on the books in most states have a phrase in there that says it is dependent on what a reasonable officer would have thought in that situation. Okay? That's that Christian slave mentality. Absolutely. You don't know enough about Jesus. You need to study for yourself. Jesus does not want you sitting around here and continuously getting slapped in the face thinking that ain't even how God operates. So stop using my Lord and Savior for all your foolishness. But I want you all to process this. And Big Rod asked a question about the cops and other entities that can't be sued. Again, I've talked extensively on this, and I've done an extended amount of research. A lot of times we are frustrated when cops do not get sued and they have done what we believe to be an egregious act. And it's not because prosecutors don't always want to prosecute them. The laws in many of these states are outdated. They were created by a group of entities of people who look just like them, who wanted them to have the ability to beat, to shoot, and it's not all officers. Let me say that. We're never talking about all, because there's a lot of good officers. But because he brought officers up, I want you guys to understand that you should be concerned about who is at your local level, who is at your state level, who is making these state laws and amendments, because they are the ones that control the outcome. Because if you don't change the laws on the books, then they're going to walk into every courtroom. They're going to read what the law says. And when the law says it depends on what this officer thought at the time when they did a action, and the jury is going to have no choice but to let them go, even though they believe them to be guilty. In this case, white America, my brothers and sisters, I'm still standing with you, but you got to understand something. White America does not care about your emotional pits that you have when you get wronged because of race. Okay? They simply do not. How could I care about your feelings and you saying that you have been wronged and everything that you're talking about is black or white? I can't have that same level of sympathy or empathy when I've not experienced it. There is probably 50% of white America that will watch that same video and say, oh, you know what? I don't think they did it because it was race. I think they was just doing whatever. There's a group of white America that will say, well, you never saw what they did at the beginning of the line. They might do this for every 20 people. Who knows what they'll say? Because it's not, they hate the topic of race and racism. We don't even need to go there. All we need to do is say, hey, this is how you acted. We're going to have to get them 6 to 8 figures and it will correct itself. I promise you it will. But until we are demanding that be the outcome, and we're not sitting around, I'm not making no arguments about, I don't care, you ain't got to fire nobody. Nope, I don't want you to fire them. I want them to go right back to work and do it again. so we could cut somebody else a check, and do it again so we could cut somebody else a check. Because by the time you keep cutting them checks, you're going to say the risk to reward for having this type of action, not individual, is too great. So now we're going to make sure that people don't go out here and act like this. All of us have sat in classes that we know we ain't care nothing about the classes. Matter of fact, every year on my job, they make you go through sexual harassment training. They make you go through all kind of stuff. And half the people be in their sleep. Half the people don't even listen. I'm just saying. Anyway, look here, Sesame Place. Oh, and the other video, if you see the second video, the character approaches the black girl who is trying to get a hug or something and stands over him in an aggressive manner and almost jumps at him and then turns around and walks off. So I don't know, people. Let's think about that. I think we got time for one more thing because some of y'all be in your feelings. All right, Black Illinois woman shot 6 times in alleged road rage incident. No charges filed against the white man. All right. And Oak Lawn, Illinois, a Chicago woman is in the hospital after she was shot 6 times on Interstate 57 in the south suburbs in what has been called a case of road rage. As CBS 2's Charlie DeMar reported, the woman's family wanted to know Monday night why the shooter had not been charged. Cell phone video shows a nearly lifeless Aaliyah Ivory on the pavement of I-57 near Volomir Road. After she was shot 6 times, the bullet holes busted through the back windshield of Ivory's Ford Focus. Ivory survived. We spoke with her from the Advocate Christ Medical Center. She said she's in so much pain. She said she was cut off, then returned the favor. She said, and the other driver exchanged vulgarities and slurs, and then came the shots. Ivory, who was on her way to see her sister. Concealed or not, this is outrageous. All right, so let me tell y'all something about this. So I read as much as I could find on this particular thing. There is an allegation that both of them brandish weapons. Miss Ivory is saying she never showed her gun. She said she had a gun. She got a legal concealment permit. The guy who shot through the windows, hey, he was legal with his, but apparently he cut her off, she alleges, and then she says, I returned the favor and I cut him off. And then they were apparently riding side by side with the windows down, cussing each other out as they was driving. And at some point, the individual, either she gets in front of him somehow or he falls back. However it happened, he shoots through her back window and hits her 6 times. Now, first of all, let me say this to law enforcement. Part of what they are alleging is that she pulled, according to him, she pulled the gun first. He feared for his safety. He had no right. He was under no requirement to retreat. Blase, 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 whatever. But you got to remember something. The law only gives you an opportunity to use deadly force to remove the situation of potential harm. And in this case, if you were shooting through the window, through the back window of her vehicle to which you hit her 6 times, it is impossible for you to say you couldn't have took your vehicle and went on a different road, that you couldn't have simply stopped and she would have kept driving, unless there is video showing her with her hand out the window shooting back toward your vehicle. You were under no imminent threat of danger if your vehicle was behind her vehicle. And I think that's where the family is at odds. Now, let me say this, and I want to make very clear that you guys understand me. Y'all be out here wilding out on these highways, and you dead wrong. You pulling in front of somebody because somebody. Now, imagine this scenario. Imagine this guy cut in front of you by accident. Maybe he wasn't even paying attention, And then you intentionally say, I'm going to pay you the favor back and cut in front of you. And now I got two people in their feelings and y'all pull y'all cars side by side and y'all start cussing at each other. Both of y'all wrong. Both of y'all 100% wrong. And what that led to is what we often see on the sides of roads and in gas stations and people rolling. Listen, folks in America are at an all-time high of anger and frustration, be it because of their revenue, life situations, personal situations, job situations. People are just at an all-time high. Sometimes you got to be the person who thinks to yourself, let me just keep it pushing. And see, we want to make her into a victim. She's a victim of being shot, but she wasn't a victim to the situation because she had the option of not cutting back in front of him, not pulling her car side by side. He's wrong for shooting her. And I believe he should be arrested. And I believe before all is said and done, he will face a charge. But I'm not going to give her a pass because she said when they talked to her, when the news reporter talked to her, when he cut me off, I intentionally cut him off. And then we got into a verbal cussing match as we're driving. People, some of y'all got to have the last word so bad that you put yourselves in situations like this. We are seeing too many people get killed. We're seeing too many mass shootings. We're seeing a lot of stuff going on. For you to think that the best scenario, because you get cut off driving to your sister's house, is for me to get into any type of altercation with anybody is crazy. And again, this is not giving him a pass because he was 100% wrong and he should receive some jail time. And I believe that when the pressure is put on the prosecutor to justify him shooting 6 times through her back window, I believe what's going to happen is there's going to be so much pressure that they have to file some charges. And I believe that the fact he shot through the back window, there's probably not a jury that's going to let him just walk free. They're going to find both of them to have been hotheads. But I'm saying this so before some of y'all get on your way to work tomorrow morning or on your way home tonight, make sure that you are considering what you out here doing in these streets because everybody ain't playing with you. There are people who are out here hurting. Some people are just evil and angry. Some people are just on the edge. And if you are participating with that level of foolishness, you might not make it home tonight, or you might wind up in the hospital like this young lady who we wish her, listen, we wish her the nothing but a full recovery and success. But let this be a lesson to all of us. I gotta go, people.
It's about that time, baby, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go.
Listen,